Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get straight into it. There's only one thing I imagine most people who watch this channel are going to want to know as right now, and it's what's going on with XRP. I thought this was a pile of crud. I thought nobody wanted this. I thought this was an underperformer. I thought this was like really uncool. But it's not, is it? Let's face it, it's a rinse and repeat market cycle, and we're really enjoying this route all the way up to the next temporary resistance, which is roughly around 71 to 72 cents. So we've been saying this since the first little move when we broke out of here. Again, you know, we look at XRP a lot. You know, just to put it out there for the people who probably don't watch this channel, we look at XRP quite frequently because it's a really good chart to trade. It's a really good chart to trade. It might not be a millionaire starter kit, but it's a good tradable chart because it's old, and indicators require price, volume, and time to be valid, really, for them to really work with a decent chance of success. So the first big move was a breakout of this giant descending triangle. Which is a huge bear market breakout, basically. Bear market of its own making and a bear market of the market's making. This isn't the first time, and I'll just bore you to death one very brief moment here. This is XRP's full cycle history, starting from all the way back down here in August 2013. Started off with a big parabolic move up, okay, and then basically mountains and molehills all the way down to the humble beginning of the new bull market, which basically spent most of the time going down and then a short space of time going up to create the all-time high over here, 2017 into 18. And then guess what? Obviously, rinse and repeat, giant, massive, huge consolidation until what happened here? A big breakout. We'll move over to the Binance chart now. This is where the big breakout happened, and again, in the last cycle we spoke about this. I said, look, rinse and repeat, most likely, bang, mountains, molehills, up to a previous local high, not an all-time high because of SEC. You know, the SEC ruined the party, but now they're out of the equation now, aren't they? More or less, the SEC. And so what we will probably see, my expectation of this over the long term, is a new all-time high for XRP and the completion of its rinse and repeat market cycle that it's been doing for basically 10 years now. So this is, you know, it's celebrated its 10th year on Trading View, you know, since it's been out and about, and I reckon there's a very good chance, no guarantees, but a very good chance a new all-time high will be printed for XRP. Probably sooner rather than later, given the way that it normally runs. But I think I made a video about this last week or the week before saying that this time is different. The ultimate clickbait title for anything. This time is different. But it kind of is different because the SEC are basically out of the equation, and the chart should be allowed to run. And I think the confidence in the idea that XRP might actually achieve something on a global scale, or even just not be suppressed by the SEC, is more likely this time round. Even when the SEC came in around here, crashed the chart basically, we still went on to make a serious run. I mean, the SEC, with or without them, still 10x really from the low down there. So pretty decent stuff. So a 10x from there. I'm still thinking a 10x was possible from the breakout zone. So we were looking for around a $4 area for XRP. In the short term though, 72 cents is the next major area of resistance. The money flow index is now sitting at 88. Normally the money flow index will start peaking as we get into the 90s, and by the time we get to like 95, you'd really want to start to think about taking and shaving profits and stuff like that. Now, me personally, I own loads of XRP. I own it because I basically like to trade it with coin futures. Right? I've got a coin futures trade at the moment, just a small one really in comparison to my normal size. So I'm only at 2x on this one with a small amount. So I've only got, you know, a small bit riding. But as you can imagine, you do this all the time with a chart like XRP, which is quite tradable. You end up basically owning an inordinate amount of XRP. It's ridiculous, to be fair. And again, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it wasn't particularly fruitful on the last cycle because of the SEC, but still kept it all, still continued to trade it, and I expect a new all-time high this time round. So a lot of my XRP, and I mean a lot of it, will get sold as we approach the previous all-time high, and we'll see where the chart looks as and when we get there, what the rest of the market looks like, and see if much higher than an all-time high is possible. I know you're always going to get these people talking about market caps and say, oh, but if XRP reaches $5 or $10 or whatever, the market cap will be this, which is completely unrealistic. Which, again, on paper it is. The market cap will look unrealistic, but let's face it, crypto, just like everything else, is pretty illiquid. That market cap's not going to stay like that for very long. The market cap will shrink just as fast as it grew in standard XRP. Thou taketh away fashion. So let's have a think about this on the higher term timeframes now, because obviously the pump signal has now kicked in around 60 cents, and you can see that pump signal pushing us right up. And again, yeah, the 72-cent zone is the next major zone of resistance. I'm probably going to, depending on what the rest of the market looks like, because I'm still anticipating a pullback for Bitcoin and the market at some point. I might look at shaving half of my profits off just to bag that in there. But obviously stop losses are in profit and stuff, so it's not too much of a big deal. Right, so the 3-day, again, a very good looking chart. We got golden crosses on simples over here, exponentials over here. We surfed that 200 simple moving average on a 3-day, and now we're pushing beyond all of those. We're still floating up in this giant resistance box, but above all major moving averages, which are all in the right place. Every moving average is sitting in the right place. There's no pump signal over here, I have to say. The pump signal basically doesn't exist, not until we get a green portion of the cloud. So if we think about XRP over the long term, I'm expecting XRP to continue with this mountain, molehill onto a new all-time high over a longer period of time, whether it's a year to 18 months, which is why I say this time is different, because this consolidation is a way smaller consolidation than the previous ones, which normally take about 2.5 years to complete. This one, it's took about 18 months really to complete. Really, it's not too long yet, about 18 months, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. So it's still shorter than the previous consolidations, which again this time is different. So the 3-day, plenty of room to generate further pump signals on higher term timeframes, which usually will yield much larger moves. So as we approach this temporary resistance on the short term timeframes, the higher term timeframes not quite so much, or at least for the 3-day anyway. Again, looking at the weekly over here, this is building a pump or a trend signal. It's probably going to be a trend signal when this completes on the Ichimoku cloud. Cheeky spans above the price, and we've got a price action above the cloud. We're just way away from getting a conversion baseline cross above this cloud, which is what we want to see. So again, the higher term timeframes as far as trend is concerned, and also matching previous market cycles and breakouts, still plenty of room to move, but the higher term timeframes don't have those epic signals, which the lower term timeframes definitely do. So as we approach 72 cents, expect a pullback, maybe even a retrace, a full-on retrace really, because looking at the daily, we got this, you could call it an avoided death cross really, but we haven't had any retests really of the lower moving averages. The Bollinger Band Center is sitting back down here around about 57 cents. 50 exponential is at 55, and the 200 simple and exponential is between 54 and 52, but all the way back down to that magical area, that 51, 52 cent zone really. But at the moment, she's pushing hard, 10% up today, when most altcoins, to be fair, are not really doing a great deal. So, I'm not suggesting anybody take positions in this right now. It's kind of crazy. I wouldn't have expected anyone to want to take a position even at 60 cents, just because it's a resistance. You shouldn't really ever think about buying resistances. No matter how bullish you are, you break a resistance, you build a base above it. That's different, but buying the actual resistance or longing the resistance is kind of crazy. But XRP completing its market performance as it always does, with big moves up, large consolidation, big move up, large consolidation. Now, previously, just to put it out there, because again, it is a creature of habit, XRP, which is why I like talking about it, which is why I like to trade it. It's why it's usually quite a successful chart to trade. We do get the mountains and the molehills. This could be the mountain, and we could actually just be looking at a molehill. Whether that rejects now or we move up to the candle body highs around 82, that could be the molehill. Then another consolidation after that, forming a higher low, to then go on to make the next mountain, which would be a higher high. The next higher high is probably going to be up into the dollars. About $1.10, $1.20 is where I'll be looking for the next local high to be generated before thou taketh away, basically, it kicks in. So yeah, that's basically all there really is to say about it. There can be a run and breakthrough from the 72 to the 82, and look, I would love this to go up even higher, and I'll keep a 50% of long on this just for a laugh, you know. And look, I'm a massive hodler on this, you know, not because I expect it to make, well, it will make me significant gains because the amount of XRP that I own, but it's not that I think it's going to pull 100x or anything like that. I just think it has a very good chance of working out because it's 10 years old and it's always done that. So even though we didn't make a new all-time last time, we still managed to do a 10x from the low with the SEC on its back. Right, so I'll leave the XRP side of things for you there, so you can carry on with the rest of your day. If you've got a bit of time, we can talk about Bitcoin and then the rest of the market. So Bitcoin is looking still actually okay to generate a new push up on this one based on the daily. Is what we see. It actually looks quite good over here, I have to say now. So actually, Bitcoin surprisingly good given what we have seen recently, but the 4-hourly did have a bit of bearish divergence, and we might still complete that on the 4-hourly. So all that would mean on the 4-hourly would be a pullback into a major support and then back up again. We'll see what the daily looks like if that were to happen. So that would require a new local high on the 4-hourly or the daily time frame, obviously. So above 36, maybe towards 37, and again the major resistance sitting up here at around 37.7 or 800. So there is that chance that we do push up and get rejected from there, and then complete the divergence, and then come back down to a lower zone, probably around 32,000. Some point this week. Now, again, that's boring stuff to talk about when you hear about XRP, hoping for Moon Boy targets and stuff like that. Let's have a think about the Dixie, because this again is I suppose part of the reason I think that might happen. So we've got a 200 weekly and a 50 exponential sitting down here at 104.1. Which would be a decent bounce zone for the Dixie. The Dixie sold off quite hard in the last session on Friday, and closed the weekly red and broke down below a lot of supports. The next supports again on this daily is 104.2. So between 104.2 and 103.5 would be bounce zone for the Dixie. Now, given the nature of the way that this is appearing to break down quite significantly here, we'd probably see a bounce, and whether or not we go on to make a new local high on this one or not would give us a good idea of how things are going to perform for the rest of the year. If we move up and get rejection, we don't go any higher than this Bollinger Band Center, something along the lines of around 106.2. Then we'll be looking for this to downtrend and maybe even come back down to these precious areas like basically 101 to below 100, 99.6. All of that absolutely on the cards. There's a lot of talk of recession taking place at the moment, I hear, and there's evidence for that as well. The main thing to think about in the form of a recession, if anybody's sort of afraid of it, is to make sure you've got capital available, because if recession kicks in and certain banks or whatever starts to fail, we have a similar kind of vibe to 2008. Yeah, not the same, but kind of similar. You'll see sell-offs, and they'll be fast and they'll be epic, and there will be buying opportunities big time. Yeah, big time. Best things to buy in a recession is assets. It's like a game of Monopoly, isn't it? Everyone else loses their money, and you buy it all off them and own the board. It's basically, that's unfortunately the nature of a recession. It's bad for the person who basically is overexposed or can't afford this or loses their job. But for people who've got some capital available, that is prime time. It's unfortunate, but that is the case. So you've got to think about that. And so if we do start to see talks of recession or the indications of banks and other places sort of failing, and again, the whole idea about, maybe I'll make a video about this separately, but in summary, something like the housing market. So interest rates have gone up, people can't afford their houses or can't afford their mortgages, so they have to sell, and then there's an influx of supply. And demand is low because people can't afford the mortgage or buy a new house because house prices are still ridiculously high. You'll find a housing market, I suppose crash is a bit strong of a word, but there'll be a lot more houses on the market because people can't afford to keep their houses, and before you know it, house prices are down 15-20%, interest rates still remain high, and this again is a buying opportunity for those who are lucky enough to have the funds to do that. Same thing with assets, really. Right, boring, I understand. Right, so let's get this video out there. And again, it is a XRP video, but if you are interested in sort of thinking about how to navigate a potential recession, then I'll make another video on that if that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, I'm sure you'll find something equally boring to entertain yourself with. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.